Okay, we get a new game. I'm gonna open up with d4 and we're facing a 2100 Serbian opponent who does play the Slav setup. I'm gonna go c4, like this is how you punish this bishop f5 move, and queen b3. Let's see, he can either defend queen b6 or queen c8. Let's go queen b6, I'm gonna go c5, and we're gonna be getting into this really nice endgames in the Slav. Let's see if he takes on b1 or not. Because he can either take or he could play like knight d7. He plays this knight. I've never seen this plan before. I'm gonna go there and b4. If he's trying to do this, that's not how it's working. Goes b6, but just b4. I flipped this position a million times, but I've never seen this move. Okay, this is not how it works. Bishop c7, maybe this. Rook's kind of trapped. If he goes b5, I might be able to sack. He takes, but we just take. And now this is coming. Okay, that's not achieving anything. I'm not gonna be taking. My plan is to just go for this. b5, b6, b7. Oh, this is so good. b6 and then b7. This is so good. We're gonna promote. Okay, he finds a5. He could have taken as well. I thought we can cheese him. I want a b6, bishop takes, b7. Let's go a5. Well, I'm still like much better. But I really wanted to cheese him. I can just take. No, he takes on c5, never mind. Can I go like knight d5? Knight d5, bishop b5, c6? There's like no need to do that. Absolutely no need. I kind of want to win, though. How do we win? So, like, if I go b7, he wants rook a7, that's obvious. Okay, I think the split would be just to bring this knight around. I spent way more time than I should have on this move. Yeah. Let's go knight f8. Can he take on c7? I think he still cannot. He'll try like knight e6, maybe, but he can take there. Could have taken on b8 first as well. Does go for that, but I can just take with a rook. We're gonna get a very funny situation with the knights, but his knight is hanging as well. I've actually never seen such a situation where knights get strapped. Jesus, what is this game? He still cannot take on c7. Just gonna bring my king, controlling the square. Let's go knight there. I think we can take. Okay, bishop's coming into d3. Could also just go bishop e2 as well. Do we want to trade? I think we keep. This bishop's kind of out of the game. Yeah, I want to bring a rook in. Knight c3, rook a7, that's the plan. Okay, rook a1, knight c3 next. Yeah, rook's coming into a7. If he takes on d4, we take with a pawn, keeping c5 defended. His position now is starting to fall apart. He can even sack the exchange there if I want to, but I'm just gonna play like this and then knight a5, but just gonna play bishop a6, I guess, keeping it simple. Could really sack the exchange, but I won't. He has knight d8. He takes, but I mean, gives up way too many pieces. Way too many pieces. I don't know. Just random moves now, just take knight e4. Knight d6. Okay, this is game. Alright. So, yeah, first of all, the Eric Rosen line goes after d4, d5, bishop f4. He goes h5. Oh, I just lost that game, never mind. And now if you play a3, they go e5. If you take, there's f6. And then boom, boom, and then boom. And you have no bishop. You could try taking with a pawn, but then pretty much same thing happens, so you lose your bishop. and that is why I have played knight f3 to deal with that. Yeah, and then this is just a pretty pointless move. So we got the Slav setup, but it started getting confusing once he has played this move that I've never seen. Went b6, I went b4, and then apparently I can just take that knight, and they can't take as I take. Taking this drops a7, or not. Ooh, there's b5 that actually wins. Because fingers with dropping a7, then he manages to win b2, so it's not that clear. But there's b5. If they take, you take, and knight has to move, and let's say it goes there, but bishop b5 is really strong, and then we take this. So yeah, I was not aware of this idea with bishop b8. I went bishop c7, similar idea. I took this way, and this was well played, and here I had this really funny cheese. Maybe it's not like the best move, because he can take. I've seen that he can give up the exchange. But idea was that if he takes, I go b7, and then I end up queening on like move 17, which was pretty funny. But he played a5, and I guess I'm like strategically winning anyways. I was actually wondering whether he can play bishop c2 or not here, but I mean, it still looks winning. Knight somewhere. Yeah. Play knight d7, went king d2, and then the rest looked pretty smooth. As I was saying, like, you could do this, it's like completely winning. You take, he moves rook somewhere. You go b7, and then knight goes, and then you promote. But for some reason I was hesitating a little bit on this decision. But anyways, he just gave up the knight, so then I collected his pieces. We're gonna be getting London system, I guess, after d4. But he does go for c5. I'm gonna be playing c3. I'll try to get a London regardless. And looks like we actually do. So yeah, if they take one d4, by the way, you just transpose to the exchange Slav. So I think that's like an easy way to deal with this c5 move if you're feeling annoyed by it. And I'm gonna play knight d2 and bishop d6. I'm gonna go bishop g3. I know you guys are waiting for me to play that, and a lot of people like keep asking me, why don't you play bishop g3 like all the time when they play bishop d6? So you see, the thing is, I have to see that they have played c5 already, because otherwise they might never play it, and it's gonna be an inferior line, and it's kind of hard to explain it here, but yeah, that's kind of the bigger picture. I'm gonna go bishop d3, and if he goes b6, well, main lines are with queen e2, but I think I like to go for the trendy e4 kind of stuff. I think I like that, and I think he's supposed to play like bishop e7. I'm gonna go e5. Let's see. I think the line goes bishop e7, e5, knight h5, and then I go knight g5 perhaps. I think that's the line. He does take, but I think this is like a little bit inferior now for him. Hitting this. This is gonna be a really nice line. Thinking to take. If I take, he takes with a bishop. He could also go for the endgame. Okay, I'll start this way. I'm gonna show you a very nice Greek gift here. He does take on g3. Ooh, this is so bad. This is actually straight up lost because he is dealing with a double attack. Yeah. Okay, free win. Yeah, rook h7 next with mate. Okay, we can actually title this like the line that made my opponent rage quit. Alright. So let me actually show you like a little bit of the tricks in this lines, because I have a video on it that maybe not so many of you have watched it. Yeah, we dodged his c5 quite nicely, and then the point is that he has to play like bishop e7 now, and after e5, knight h5. Lines are going like knight g5, I believe, bishop g5, queen h5, g6, queen e2, cd4, and then you end up playing h4. They take, you take, they play like this, and then you get like a lot of play for the pawn, and yeah, I think that's actually like a very nice line for white. One of my favorites actually against this bishop d6 move. Yes, there's like nothing wrong with going in this position queen e2 and all this kind of Garakamsky games with rook d1, e4. But I think this is way funnier to play, and Here in the game, there's like a funny idea. If they play queen c7, I actually had in mind to take and then go for this. And it might not be like winning, but it's definitely very interesting ideas like this. And white has very nice initiative. And if you're curious into like more details about this position, yeah, I will leave a card on the screen that you can click, and it will take you directly to the video that I made about this specific e4 variation in this position, because it's one of my favorites. And yeah, in the game, the way he played, he just gave me like a free piece, and yeah, just left the game. So all right, looks like we're one game away from the goal, and we'll try to make it into this game. Let's see. So we actually have the white pieces, and we're facing a 2200 opponent that goes d4 c5. I'm just gonna be playing c3, ready to get an exchange Slav if he's willing to. Looks like he's not, and we actually managed to get back into the London after you know, now we have like a Queen's Indian type of setup. He does go for d5, which is not like super common from the move order he played. And I'm gonna go knight e5. I'm gonna go queen f3, controlling e4 square, and we've had this position before in the series. And he does actually fall for our tricks. No way this is actually gonna happen. He does find knight e4, man. Like, if he goes knight d7, I was ready to great gift. So he kind of was aware of it, and now we can just take the free pawn. And yeah, we are up. That is not a move you should be making, sir. What is that? How can you make this mistake in like 2200? I'm like really shocked even. Just g3 and win. g3, there's perhaps g5. So g3, g5, I take. There's like no way this could be good for him. Just trying to find like the killer move. Yeah, g3, g5, I mean, I think just bishop takes is cleanest. Bro, en passant and resign. Okay, queen e6, which one you'd like? You can take that as well. I think I like this better. Okay, rook d1 first. Hitting queen. Yeah, just like that, lost at this point. Plays queen c8. Can start bishop. I think we just take. Maybe go queen h5. Yeah, bishop d6. I mean, come on. Come on. Bishop d6. Okay, and he does find the resign button, and we do actually manage to get to 2100 with the London. So how nice. And yeah, I mean, really, we were inches close to getting a superb great gift here. If he does go knight d7, this is actually very good for white after queen h5 and then knight f3, f6. I've looked this up like a million times. We take rook f5, but I mean, in fact, you can go for this, and then take. This is actually very sexy for white. And yeah, g4 ideas, much better. Instead, in the game, he tries out knight e4. He's just down a pawn. There's no way he should take that. I mean, g3 was not that clean. I was considering also this, but I thought g5. Yeah, this was actually much better. I mean, just winning. So yeah, I mean, he should just play down a pawn, but he was clearly not liking his position, so he tried to snipe the pawn. But I mean, yeah, just h7 hangs. So all right, I think that was kind of it. So we do get the white pieces against the 2083 opponent. We're gonna go d4, and we do face the Polish defense by a Polish guy. And yeah, we're just gonna be acting like nothing's happening. Gonna be playing London fashion. Gonna be playing solid chess. Of course, you should play e4 and just win from the opening. But we are London system players. We don't know to play too many openings, so we'll just try to play positional. Fix this pawn there with a5. Bishop d3, perhaps even better. Looking for the attack. Let's see. He does go c5. I'm gonna castle. If he takes, I take with a pawn. Does go d6. Well, Perhaps maybe I was a little bit inaccurate. Like on c5, maybe it's best to just play knight c4, knight b6, trying to take advantage of that square, although he has like a knight d5 move. So he castles d6. If I go knight c4 now, there'll be knight b d7, so not sure I love that. Actually, knight c4, he's gonna play knight d5 because d6 would hang. I think this is like very useful move to make. And let's see what he plays. Knight d7 now, I may like this move because it's hitting the pawn. If queen c7, then we take on c5 perhaps. Or maybe just play knight d2. Let's go there, but I mean that is free pawn and we'll take it. And this is like very common, so many people tend to forget about the bishop being on h2, like even strong players. It's pretty insane and absurd, and you can like abuse this. Now actually end up winning 2 pawns and the position is completely winning. Pawn is now on a6, big target. If e5, oh, he plays queen c8, never mind. Queen c8, idea is to take with a knight on c5, obviously. Thinking maybe this. I think I like that. Yeah, we can't take us then queen defense, so we just take this. If knight d3, perhaps taking with a pawn, making sure that we can take with a queen, and also maybe e4 ideas. I think we're up a pawn and position is really nice. Gonna be playing e4 most likely next move. He does play knight d7, which does not stop our plan of going e4. Bishop has to move, and next up I think, ooh, he does go for the counterattack, but this guy is actually getting kind of trapped, you know. I can just move my bishop, bro. Where do we go? I think we go all the way home, but I don't want to, you know, I think g3 is like a little bit better, keeping aloof. He does go for the Bobby Fischer move. It doesn't really seem to work though in view of queen a1. Does it? I think it doesn't. Thank you for the bishop. I know my opponent's not watching the stream, but yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do. That's try queen c5. Well, that is actually maybe a good move that I should have considered, but rook b7 seems clean. And now with queen c6, there's rook c7, closing the deal. This is key move, attacking the knight. He does take, but I mean, this is still gonna remain pinned forever and we get to take. This is not looking pretty for my opponent. Queen a4, but rook d4, hitting the queen. He finds queen b3, but there's like knight d2, I'm assuming. If queen b6, there's rook d6, key move. I mean, anything wins, but I like to say key move. Let's go queen b4, hitting the knight. I can just take this, but I'm wondering if I can like take the whole piece. I don't think we really need to bother with that. I'm up a bishop, I mean that's enough to win the game. Ooh, he forgot about it again, man. Second time, same game. This is so absurd. He does resign. This is so funny. Like, see, he forgot first place, knight c4, I take the pawn on d6, and then he forgets second time, rook on b8 hangs. London is so goddamn powerful. Okay, let's actually jump into the analysis tab. So my opponent just went for the Polish defense, where you can obviously just go e4 and congrats, you're just having a much better position. But well, I really want to keep it as thematic as I can for the London system rating climb, and I went for e3, just trying to not punish this opening as badly. And I went h3, a4 eventually. This is kind of a nice move to take advantage of the fact that he's a little bit overextended on the queen side, and after b4, maybe I'm not supposed to go a5. I'm not like very familiar with the structure. Like, I judged it as a Ruy Lopez, when in the anti-martial they go b4 and you then go a5 and then you try to use this pawn as a weakness, but it's actually like a little bit different than in that scenario, and I think he got a completely fine position here in the game. If he plays something else, maybe taking on d4 followed by knight d5, I don't know, but on d6 I've also considered this idea, funnily enough, to take. It's not entirely stupid because the knight is like super juicy on c4. And if he plays knight d7, well, queen e2, you know, e4 is coming in, rook e1, rook d1. I mean, this pawn is actually like now very good there on a5. So I went bishop h2, which was okay, and then I went knight c4. And apparently my opponent is supposed to go on d5, and knight d6 is not the greatest move ever because he has this only move bishop c6. Because if he takes, then obviously white wins because of dc. But he has bishop to c6, and then my knight is kind of stuck on d6. So he went there, blundering the fact that I'm attacking the pawn, which gave me a free win. On d5 I would have been supposed to play like knight e5, but he gets in c4. It really doesn't look pretty here. Black might be slightly better. Went bishop d5, took the free pawn. Yeah. Rook a4 was best move. Pawn takes was best. The rest was actually pretty clean, surprisingly. Yeah, rest was all good. So yeah, actually, looking back onto this game, if I could come up with an improvement on the opening phase, I think I would have played dc5 now. Just keeping this kind of symmetrical position, but we get the super juicy knight on c4, and then the plan would be to like get pawn e4, rook e1, rook potentially could come into d1. We can support the knight with b3 oftentimes, and yeah, I mean, we then have ideas of going e5 and switching play against h7 with like queen e4 potentially, or we could also like push in the h pawn. And it just like feels like, you know, black has no pawn breaks and he just has a symmetrical position that is a little bit more passive and, honestly speaking, kind of unpleasant to play. So yeah, I think that should be pretty much it about this game, and we could jump right into the next one. We do get the white pieces, and we're facing a 2074 opponent from Iran, and he does open up with d4 c6, meaning that he's a Slav defense player. We see queen a5 check. Gonna be playing c3, and he does go knight f6. So this is actually like really odd. Just gonna be playing knight d2 since it's like useful move all the time. Plays queen f5. I will just defend my bishop with e3 and develop the knight, I guess. And I think plan is to get knight e5 in and now bishop to d3 with them, because I would like to play bishop d3, but that is not a move because the queen is controlling that square. So could start with bishop d3, knight e4, bishop g3. That is a thing. I don't know. I'll play it this way. And on knight e4, I think I might just retreat my bishop one step to g3. Maybe this is also like fine, taking on e4, he plays queen g5. Feel like I'm so ahead in development, like I can play queen f3. I'm actually gonna do that. I think that's the way to punish this opponent and this opening. Yeah, it looks like a little bit sketchy, but hey, I mean, it's so good. He takes, but I mean, I can take with a bishop, but I'm gonna go for the stronger knight takes with this threat. And then I'm taking his queen. Also, something that I'd really love to do is short castle, and on queen e6 I think we are gonna do exactly that. No need to worry about his pawn on f4, because we can just castle. He can't take, his pawn on f7 would hang, and now he's pretty much dead lost. Actually, I could have gone for bishop c4 previously as well. I'm just gonna do it now. But I really like to get myself castled in this kind of situations. Does go queen there. We can take with the rook and hit the queen. Also defend this knight. Can maybe take on e5, but I think cleanest is to take with a pawn, and then there will be a mate on f7. I'll show you after the game. Can just take the free queen. Does play e6, but not gonna resist for that long. I'm gonna go queen h5, hitting this pawn. Yeah, I think we can just take e6, for example. Gonna do it the other way. Take this and then take that. And he does resign. Okay, let me actually show you what I meant into the analysis tab. So his opening was definitely the strangest thing that I've ever seen, but I think it was quite instructive the way I punished it, because I went for this aggressive bishop d3, and then bishop g3 is also like very good. I really like to open things up though. He was supposed to play queen g5, and then I think castle is perfectly fine, but also what I like, queen f3, maybe ideas to castle long, because he can't take on e3 in view of queen f7, and yeah, this is just terrible. Like, he can take there, but I mean, we can just castle, and look how nicely these pieces are developed, and he only managed to develop a queen the whole game. Like, this is the perfect explanation of how to take advantage of an early developed queen. And if we go back, he went d4, I took with a knight, threatening this track. For example, if he goes rook g8, I can just win his queen right away. He tried to dodge that, but after castle he's just dead lost. I could have also started with this move, but I've seen it afterwards. Yeah, he went queen f5. I can take on f7, but I like this even better. Now if he takes on e5, funny point is that it's better to take, because then if he takes, I'm taking with mate, so he's actually still losing the queen, and I think it's even better than taking this guy. And you know, he could take, and he took like some pieces. It's still like winning for me, but okay. So yeah, in the game, then the rest was pretty straightforward. Okay, we've got ourselves a nice 2100 opponent. We're gonna go for d4, and we're gonna be getting a London system. Gonna go e3, knight f3. It does play with this kind of yeah, weird move order. I have just blundered that one. But okay, let's see if my opponent can yeah, win with the pawn. I gave him a pawn, let's see what he knows to do with it. Go to b1. Task of queen e3. I don't know, I'll play rook b3. Feels like a good move. Ooh, what is that queen trying to achieve? That is really, really risky. This looks very natural. I think I should be better now, to be fair. Just because his queen is kind of misplaced. Could actually consider like knight b1 to c3. Could be actually good here. His queen is like really kind of stuck. I don't see a way to trap it just yet, but I think getting the knight to c3 will improve my position quite a bit. If he castles, I'm thinking whether we can Greek gift or not. I think we could. Okay, he makes this move. I'm wondering if we can throw in rook b5. I think the answer might be yes. And now if queen a4, knight c3 comes with a tempo, and yeah, I mean, queen's getting close to be trapped. Queen a2, but knight c3 with tempo. He does get queen a3 eventually though, coming into d6. Maybe I have rook c5. That's a funny move. Rook c5, knight d4 might be winning for my opponent though. Have to watch out for it. I let him out. Let him escape. Might have to just accept the failure. You're gonna go knight b5. And like what next? Can I go knight g5 in this position? I think this is a useful move. I have no time, as always. I really have to try that one now. I'm in a huge time trouble. King g6, maybe queen d3 there is. I think this though is better. Let's go f5. Maybe I have queen h4. Rook e6 is now like a big threat. I think he could try like knight d8. That's just bad for him. We managed to hustle my opponent, but still. It's not over yet with this time. Well, need to bring the queen back into the game. He's trying to really push the pawn. It looks like he's just gonna let his timer run out, which is pretty nice. He could have tried to go after the flag, but yeah, that was like a messy game. He was like, you know, kind of instructive the way I swindled him, but also kind of bad because he got me in the opening. I don't really know if this game is gonna make it into the series or not, but let's actually cover it a bit, because I'm curious whether we could have trapped his queen or not. So after he went queen b4, let's actually see how the game continued, because it wasn't quite over just yet. I went castles, knight c6, rook b1, and after this, I felt like I got a very nice position, and I played the quote-unquote supernatural queen e2, where in fact I'm completely winning if I go queen c1. Big threat is rook a3, and if he goes queen a5, can go queen b2, and then his queen was actually getting trapped. So okay, I missed that. I go queen e2, goes knight e7. I go knight b1, which is actually an interesting move. Like I could go, for example, rook f b1 and just try to repeat the position after knight a5. But I went for this. To me it looked like I was doing well, but then he escaped. And I went knight b5 and rook e1, which felt, yeah, like a useful move. And he could have played h6. I had in mind to go f5, pawn takes, and I don't know, something like knight e5 or f5. He can castle. I don't know. I was just trying to create a mess. Maybe throw in f6 and then some kind of knight h4. Who knows? Hope for the best. But he went for castle, and I was not sure if the Greek gift is legit or not, but I really had to go for it, thinking that also I had so less time. It's apparently completely winning. Queen h4 was correct. Big threat is like queen h7 now. He can't really defend, and apparently something even better than what I did in the game was to go g4 with this kind of ideas. Queen h5 followed by knight h7, and if he takes I can take, and then this is actually just mating. And I think this is actually way stronger in this particular case because the rook is also joining the game compared to like the, yeah, quote-unquote typical Greek gifts. But now I took, and then took on c7. This looked like more than enough to me. I thought this is again more than enough. Brought my queen back into the game. Queen b5, threatening to take this knight because of the pin. He sidesteps, I find rook c7, and then I think this was like really clever. Because on rook a7, important to not take first because he takes my queen, but take with check. And our point is if he takes, then I pick up his rook and he resigns in this position. He actually let his time run out, which was really nice. Okay, I think that was it about this game. As I was saying, definitely inaccurate opening by me. I just blundered the fact that he can check, but yeah, I'll make sure to come up with an update and let you my thoughts on this. Yeah, pretty tricky move order with third move bishop to d6. So after I checked my analysis, I found out that queen g4 is a pretty interesting move, but simplest might be to just go for what I did in the game. with the big difference that once the bishop takes and black goes to this queen d6, we will be protecting the pawn with queen d2 while also stopping this very annoying check on b4. And the kind of major difference that we have compared to what we would generally do in the structure when we have these pawns on d4 and f4, on knight f6, it is important to develop the knight on c3, which is a little bit unusual as, you know, in the normal setup, we put the pieces like pawn on c3, bishop goes to d3, queen e2, pawn is on g3, and this knight comes into d2. So yes, that would be kind of the ideal setup while having these pawns on f4 and d4. But in this very specific line, we are unable to do this because we have to keep that f4 pawn defended. And we should switch to this plan of going knight c3 with the idea to castle long. And after black does go for short castle, this is the most common move. Here, yeah, out of the 20 games that have been played in this position in over the board chess, everyone went for the move bishop to d3. And here I'd like to suggest a novelty given by Lila Zero, which I think is a very interesting try that could give white super dangerous initiative on the king side, which is to play rook to g1. Idea to simply push g4, g5, and black has basically two ways to answer this. If they go for like c5, which is the most natural move, striking in the center, we can simply take and then go g4. Idea is to go g5 next, castle long, and then develop the bishop to d3 with great attacking chances. And if black decides to try to go for complications with knight e4, jumping with a knight early in the center, well, we can just very well take it and go knight e5, and we have a very simple plan of just castling long and then breaking with f3, because black is kind of unable to take as it will open up the rook for the g file against this king. So yeah, that is my quick fix onto this e3 and super quick bishop to d6 line. And yeah, I hope it gives you a little bit of a nice confidence boost while going into these lines. Yeah, especially if you remember this trade that I just fell for with queen d6 and you just play the move queen d2. If you're enjoying this series, you can click one of the votes that appears on the screen. One will be dedicated to the London system as white series, and the other one will be for the black pieces, showing you how to play the French defense. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you around on the channel. Take care.